TD Ameritrade, of course, one of the primary shareholders of TD Ameritrade owned the Cubs. They had just bought the Cubs. And I was in Chicago and the Mets came to town, obviously play the Cubs in Wrigley. And our box was filled. So the TD Ameritrade box was filled. We had some other executives in town. So they said, "Hey, Don, the TD Ameritrade box is filled. You go get to sit in the owner's box." So with old man Ricketts, really nice guy, Joe Ricketts, very, very nice guy. Love actually that family. So they made me go over to the owner's box of the Cubs, whatever, it's a nice box or whatever. And they had a Cubs hat waiting for me. They go, "You can't wear a Mets hat. We own the Cubs." I said, "You're in the owner's box." And I'm like, son of a. So they actually somehow had already had, the franchise hat, which is a fitted hat, perfectly fit me. Just it was rigged. It was rigged. They made me sit, and this thing went into extra innings. They made me sit for like 4.5 hours in a Cubs hat. Okay. I thought I was going to get like excommunicated from my own family. It's brutal, just absolutely brutal in doing so. But anyway, it was a fun game. I actually, I never went back to the owner's box after that though. But, and I don't know what happened to the Cubs. They sent me home in it. I'm like taking it off. Like the second I got out of there, angry. It's good stuff. Hey, it's free beer. It's free beer. I don't really drink beer, but it was free. Okay, let's uh let's get started a little bit. By the way, I want to we're past our official start time. It's all right. We have a lot to cover today. I'll bring on my guest here in just a moment. Markets are taking a little bit of a hit, but let's not get crazy. S&Ps right now are only down 0.5%. And I say let's not get crazy because literally the S&Ps are down like 0.5%, and it feels like the world is falling apart. But there are some very interesting signs starting to appear on the horizon right now. And I don't think but you have to have a degree of experience to actually see the signs on the horizon. What are some of the signs right now that things are starting to come apart a little bit more? One of the trades that's really getting ripped, and they're actually raising margin requirements, is gold. Gold, okay, is a little bit of shock and awe. And when I say they're raising margin requirements, these are futures contracts. And when futures contracts, let's get crazy. When futures contracts get crazy like this is a big move too. In silver, this thing was trading 50. I mean, it clipped into like 49.96. Okay, that is a huge move, huge. That is not a good sign. Even though it's a commodity, it's not a good sign. It's going to have a ripple effect into the markets. You look down the screen, volatility is starting, okay, to rock in a lot of different places that people don't necessarily, okay, even know about. So volatility is starting to bleed over into a lot of products. Take a look, all of a sudden, okay, crypto is taking a hit. Bitcoin specifically is taking a little bit of a hit over here. So there's a bit of a domino effect going on right now with anything that's what we term high beta. High beta is, players in the field out there that are high beta. Okay. Typically, higher risk stuff out there, but some pretty good size hits going on in a few of the big tech stocks. And right now, Nvidia is holding the whole world together. Like literally, okay, this thing right now, okay, it could be the greatest thing ever, or it could turn into the Death Star. Maybe it is the Death Star, and you just don't know it yet. But there's definitely a degree of volatility hitting the marketplace. It's kind of cool because it's a perfect segue into what we're going to discuss today, and that's the prop firm Passcode. Again, I'm Don Kaufman. I want to get to a few, as I said, informalities. What are some informalities? The first thing, okay, this is live. Everybody always asks that question. It drives me crazy. Like, yes, this presentation is live. It's as live as can possibly be. I just showed you a live marketplace. As they said, markets are, there's some action in it. And if you see me looking over to the right or to the left over here, it's because I got screens all around me. And I am, the longer you sit behind a screen, and I've been sitting behind screens for the better part now of about 27 years. The longer you sit behind more screens, the more ADD you get. It's a good thing. Okay. This is where you are rewarded for having attention deficit. Watch the market, focus here. Anyway, yes, this is live. Number two, can you ask questions? Yeah, I'm reading chat in real time over here. Okay. So I like this. Somebody's like, Shirley is like watching it from my phone in the mountains of Tennessee. Okay. So you're in the middle of nowhere. I'm sorry, Shirley, but the only thing I can think of when you're in the mountains of Tennessee is deliverance. It's the first thing that comes to mind. Hopefully that doesn't offend anybody. It was meant to, but hopefully it doesn't. Anyway, continuing on. So good stuff. Yeah. By the way, yes, ask questions throughout the course of the presentation. So again, what we're going to be talking about is how to trade, one very simple trade, uniquely powerful to make $620 a day using other people's money. Risk disclosure, copyright disclaimer. By the way, if you ever need to get a hold of me after today, it's right here, support@theotrade.com. Okay, we use a common inbox. Okay, so just put Don in the subject line, it goes right to me. Like literally, we have it set up with a tag, it goes right to me. So put Don in the subject, okay, it goes right to me. A few housekeeping items, okay, turn off Telegram. My Telegram's on. Turn it off, okay. Your phone over here, I've got my phone. It's now on silent mode. Close social media. Focus. We're going to go through a lot today, and I'm actually going to cover something very cool right up front. Definitely kick out the kids. The dog can stay. Look, we took the time to be here. There's going to be quite a bit of education in this afternoon's session. Could be afternoon, could be morning. Okay, it's good stuff. All right, this is why you're here. We're going to talk about a trading setup with a 90% win rate. That's number one. Okay, how to get started and book your first profitable trade literally today. Why the setup? Okay, targets a daily income. You're shooting for literally $620 a day. Okay, that is, a huge number out of here. Okay, and the secrets to trading the setup with other people's money. Okay, and we were like, whoa, it sounds crazy. Okay, well, we're going to explain what crazy is. As I said earlier, the markets. Let's get a little crazy. But literally, we're going to walk through how to actually use other people's money. Okay. The setup is one of a kind because it's repeatable. It's easy to learn, occurs every day. Okay. Yields consistent returns, perfect for the beginner traders. Okay. Or more experienced traders that know potential pitfalls. Okay. For settling for average uneven setups. So your experience level today, and I want to be very clear about this. Some people are going to be very familiar with some of the discussion we're going to have today. Others are going to be brand new to it. We're going to actually cross the spectrum in today's presentation from absolute beginner, okay, to some of the most extreme traders. Again, we're going to talk about potential pitfalls, okay, of settling for average and uneven setups, and you're actually going to see that here momentarily, okay? So why is this the most important training, okay, you could watch as we speed towards 2026? It's pretty simple, okay? This setup alone, okay, has passed 2 near impossible gauntlets. And I really want to stress that today, that what you're about to see, this isn't like new. This is actually tried and true. This is something that's been traded again and again and again and again. And it's literally, it's past the gauntlet. And you're going to see exactly what that gauntlet happens to be right now. Gauntlet number 1. There are 18 months, okay, of rubber meets the road proof. And when I talk about rubber meets the road, okay, this isn't just our results. This is clientele, okay, here at TheoTrade trading with us. So this one to me, okay, is of critical importance. There's a lot of new strategies out there and somebody can come up with something, but I back tested it and did this. Forget all that crap. This is live execution, live trading, okay? The rubber meets the road. What do you have? This is 18 months. Had you actually taken a specific setup, okay, every time it's set up over the last 18 months, okay, this is what you could potentially have banked if you took every setup over the last 18 months. It's almost $500,000 in this particular setup, right? So that's gauntlet number 1 is 18 months tried and true results. Okay, clients, many of which are amongst us today, have actually traded with, okay, this particular setup. All right, without being tied to your monitor all day, okay, without needing a track record of a ton of stocks, okay, and market data, and without needing a lot of capital to get started. Like this is not going to be big capital intensive. This is not going to be money intensive. You don't have to have 100 grand in your account. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to cover here in gauntlet number 2. Okay. Let me add a little caveat here. Gauntlet number 1, it's real time trade. Okay. It's proof is in the pudding. It's rubber meets the road. Gauntlet number 2, this setup has beaten the rigged games of the $20 billion prop firm industry. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay. All right. So the trader you're about to meet, okay, has used his singular all-powerful setup, okay, to access other people's money by outwitting the $20 billion prop firm industry who lure traders in. And some people are familiar with prop firms. We're going to talk about this. They lure people in with the promise of giving them capital trade, okay, but who then make it near impossible to make the grade. If you've ever experienced a prop firm, they make it next to impossible, okay, until this one stellar setup arrived, backed by, again, 18 months of proof over here. Boom. This is the official access to prop firm capital. So I'm going to show you. I redacted the name on here for right now, but this is actually the certificate, okay, specifically to one of the larger prop firms out there, okay? And again, I'm going to take a quick step back because people are looking at this certificate. They're like, what the hell does that mean? This means you can actually trade a firm's capital. This means you don't have to use your own capital, okay? And this setup passed, okay? But before I go any further, take a quick step back. What's prop firm, okay? And why should you care? Prop firm is a company that funds you, retail traders, who pass these rules-based tests, okay? How many people here have ever experienced that, okay? How many parents? The only thing I redacted, by the way, on that certificate, yes, the only thing I redacted was actually the name on it, okay? I don't have to redact who it is. It's one of the bigger prop firms out there. I don't care. By the way, this firm has one of the hardest tests you can possibly have, okay? All they do is charge you fees and charge you fees and charge you fees, and nobody ever passed the test, okay? He passed the test with flying colors. But some people don't even know what a prop firm is, okay? So you take this online evaluation, okay, funded accounts share profits, okay? But if you don't pass, your personal account stays untouched, and people try and try and try and try, sometimes for years, to actually get that certification. And the funny thing is, it's actually a very, very short test, okay? But you got to prove it. So why is now the time to learn this? The space is enormous. So it's estimated that the prop firm business is a $20 billion a year business. It's mainstream. Firms publish rolling payouts, okay, and growth stats. Regular people pursue funding to scale without having to risk their nest egg. All right. Now think about it. Okay. With your savings, every mistake hits your wallet. With their capital, okay, prove steadiness first, and then they basically do what? They give you their capital, and then you share in the profits. Okay. Are their tests rigged? Legally, I can't say the word rigged. I've only said it like 3 times now, but legally, I shouldn't say the word rigged. Okay, it's like a carnival game. I call it carnival tilted. It's like a carnival game. You go to the carnival, like they have the ball you throw in the basket, but like the basket might be like a half an inch enough to fit the ball in, but from a distance it looks pretty good. Okay, I mean, this is when you actually take one of these prop firm tests. Okay. There's just incredible, super tight limits, strict rules to where 98% of people fail the evaluation and then fail to access other people's capital. But this setup, the setup we're about to show you here, we've been executing now for 18 plus months, okay, is built specifically, okay, with their rules in mind instead of ultimately fighting them. So why does it work so well? Because it all revolves around one single important number, a number that you're going to know it's going to change a lot of your trading forever. Okay. Just watch that one number to roll around. It's simple. Okay. It's one ticker, one number. It doesn't usually get any easier than that. Okay. Or does it? Because it all happens in one product, one marketplace. So dump the watch list of 50 stocks over here. The most important, okay, market out there, it's the NASDAQ. Okay, specifically, okay, let's talk about when I say it's the NASDAQ, what am I actually referencing over here? Well, to actually show you, the product, of course, we're talking about is, okay, the /NQ. This is actually a NASDAQ futures contract. The NASDAQ futures contract belongs exclusively to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. That's where this contract happens to trade. But I do want to actually give you guys, okay, a little bit of information. There's the /NQ. There's a /M, okay, NQ. So this is the mini and this is the micro. there's actually, okay, a micro, which is a training ground contract for this. So before I even get started here, and before we start to show the setup and I really introduce our guests, okay, I want to take you through just real quick. We have a long history with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. We've actually helped, and I say we here at TheoTrade, and my days all the way back at Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade, we've helped create a number, okay, of absolute marquee products for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. One of those, which happens to be micros. Micros at this point, okay, the volume on the micros is bigger, okay, than in NASDAQ full contracts in here. This is a phenomenal product. It is open 5 days a week, approximately 23 hours a day. Are you going to have to sit there for that long? Hell no. Okay, this is in, out, on with your life. But, okay, at the CME group, you have got an incredible piece of technology, okay, called Globex, which is the fastest dissemination of order flow in the entire marketplace. And as I said, they're now offering a contract, okay, that is smaller, it's cleaner. It is one of the greatest training grounds for traders, okay, anywhere in this industry, bar none. I love what the CME group has done, and that's why I support, okay, this obviously in both NASDAQ and NASDAQ micro over here. So let's get down to it. Who's the man who's tamed the beast and mastered the NASDAQ? Who, okay, else has an 18-month track record of $620 a day opportunity? Who else has successfully taught people, okay, one simple setup, okay, to thousands of regular people? Who else has beaten the prop firm gauntlet to access other people's money? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Tony, Mr. NQ Rago. I can't use his full name. You know, NASDAQ just sounds better. By the way, Tony, man, I have no idea when we ever took that picture together. I have no recollection of that incident, but apparently we did take a picture together at some time. So you with me there, Tony? There he is.
Yep, I'm
All
right
right.
here.
Do you have
Once
any I have no recollection of this
I don't
picture.
know when that was. It
Yeah, I
looks
have.
like Christmas lights, but
It's not, but we're definitely like dressed for winter in here. So fresh from the oven praise, direct from the Theo chat room this morning. I just wanted to read this. This was specifically at you. Okay. Every now and then, I want to recognize you publicly. Although most people here already know already. Okay, your stuff is life changing. Those levels are a stroke of genius. I'm up $3,600 today. Thank you for all you do. That actually was earlier today. By the way, the official access to prop firm capital, it's Tony Rago. So Tony's actually passed a number of these tests over the years, which is, something that we were talking about quite extensively because they have made these tests next to impossible. Where people, by the way, the whole game is these prop firms just like lure you in to try to pass the test, okay, and you have to pay fees sometimes to actually even be able to take the test. Well, he passed it, and he actually has access to other people's money over here. But Tony Rago, for those of you who don't know him, he's got over 20 years professional trading experience. Tony's actually been here at TheoTrade for it's 9 years. You're going on your 10th year. Okay. Wait, crap, man, you're getting old.
I know.
Specializes
10 years
specifically in
already. That's
10
crazy.
years. It is crazy. When we started, the NASDAQ was trading at 4,200. Okay. Now it's at, yeah, insane. Anyway, the E-mini NASDAQ and micro NASDAQs, I actually call this from Planet NASDAQ over here. Tony's actually going to provide actionable tradable ideas. We're going to get to that right now. Tony also used to both skydive on a professional basis and ride bikes. And I'm just going to leave these pictures completely alone.
Just
But you're very secure in your masculinity, sir.
just a guy in his underwear, that's all.
Hey, yeah, I just all right. So taking the podium and a couple things over here. All right. I'm gonna turn it over to you here, man. I'm gonna turn it over to you right here, right now. Let's get
You
into
got
it.
it.
Show us a little bit about the NASDAQ.
All right, I appreciate it. So, a lot of you, I recognize a lot of names in the chat. So, you guys know how I operate. I'm not about being a complicated guy, not a lot of indicators. I go to lengths to declutter my trading, as well as work around very simple and strict rules. I try not to complicate the game of trading. Um, and honestly, look, this is one of my favorite testimonials here. This is 85 years young, learning new tricks. Tony, it's official. You've succeeded, sorry, in teaching an old dog, new tricks. I can't read this morning. This filled a pressing need in my financial life. I am so grateful to Almighty God for you and the new skills I gained by applying the new knowledge you have taught me, Rich C, aged 85, right? So teaching all walks of life, all experience levels, as Don indicated, you do not need to have a ton of experience. As a matter of fact, the whole prop segue helps that effort in a big, big way. And we'll get into some of that later. But the reason that I trade the NQ over stocks is because, very simply put, and by the way, Don talked a little bit about what the NQ is. It is the futures contract for the NASDAQ 100. Okay, this is where the largest tech companies on the planet trade. So by trading the NQ, and that's the symbol, we're trading the entire index. So all of the 100 stocks that make up the NASDAQ index, we are trading them in one ticker. So essentially, we're trading all of the Magnificent Seven under one ticker. Okay. I believe firmly, and I've been preaching this since the NASDAQ 4200s, that it is the perfect vehicle for generating daily income. It's liquid, it's fast moving. We don't have to spend a lot of time there. These setups happen very quickly. And I'm going to take you through my absolute most favorite setup, and I call it the golden setup. And I know some of you in the chat, you're already keen to what's going on here, that it is the golden setup. And we're going to talk about why the golden setup in its simplicity would help you on the prop side. Okay, so very simply put, there's a lot of folks here that might not know what the golden setup is. Okay, so in the NASDAQ, there's something occurs on the number 26. So I'm going to point this out to you right here. On the screen here, I'm circling the number 21,626. The market right now is 25,226. So we are in an area of the chart where we've never been before. We're near all-time highs on the NASDAQ exchange. Anybody's free to chime in. This setup has been working at all-time highs, you guys. It does not matter. We do not need historical data. This is something that is habitual and repeatable in the NASDAQ, and I'm going to take you through it right now. Okay, so what I've developed with the golden setup is I've identified key levels on the chart. Okay, the main level obviously is the 26, and I want you to keep that in mind. I'm going to mention it 1,000 times in this presentation. The other level that's important to this, because it meets the criteria for the setup. This is when you need to be heads up and know that it is setting up, is the number 50. In this case, on this chart, it's 21,650. Today's 50 that we were trading around was 25,250 and 25,350. Actually, I don't know if we saw a 350 today, but we definitely saw the 250. We had a couple golden setups occur today. There'll probably be one that actually happens while we're doing this. So very simply put, okay, we are not doing anything other than one thing, and that is when price comes down. So when you see the candle descending down from this level, and it's any 50, by the way, any level on the NASDAQ that ends in 50. That's very important because these markets move a lot, right? So it might be 25,150 tomorrow or 25,650 tomorrow. When price comes down from the 50, my methodology, we buy two contracts at 26 right here. We put our entire position on at the entry point. Our entry is at 26 right here. Okay. Once price starts to reverse this way, we are taking profit into a couple key levels. I'm going to get very detailed with this in just a second, but just on your screen, you can see how price comes down, retraces back to that 50 level. It occurs in this span of time right here, you guys. This occurred, what, 4 times in less than an hour. So we've got to be heads up. But what this is telling you is that if you miss one, don't worry, there's going to be another one around the corner. Okay? Very important. I'm going to walk you through all of this. Okay? I'm going to talk to you about exactly how it sets up and how you can capitalize on this. Here are a couple recent trades from the golden setup. Okay? And you can see how by trading the NQ. This is a pretty leveraged product. And by trading the NASDAQ, the NQ, we can see that $620 in one setup. And if you really pay attention, it's within like a minute. It happens very quickly. So you have to be ready for it. But right here, you can see key levels for me are the 26. This is the entry price right here. The first price target is the 33, which we'll get into in a few minutes. And then it returns back to the 50. Now, a lot of times, as you will see in some of these charts that I show you, the 26 can sometimes be the low of the day. So there are traders that you might see in the chat room or hear of that hold these all day long, that get a lot more than just the 31 points or the $620. Now, the way that we arrive at this number, let me define the money part of the NASDAQ real quick. So the NQ is worth $20 per point. Okay. The golden setup is for 31 points. Okay. And it's based on two contracts. And there's a very important methodology to capture the 31 points. Okay. Sometimes it takes more than one trade, more than one entry to accumulate 31 points. These are awesome trades because they just happen immediately. And honestly, look, if you were able to capture $620 a day consistently from the market, would you like to go on and do something else with your life? A lot of this occurs before lunch. Okay, a lot of this occurs before lunch. So you're seeing like this is at 9:50 in the morning. This is at right around lunchtime. Okay, so these things have leverage. But I'm going to show you how simple the setup is and how it sets up repeatedly and how we actually execute on this trade. Okay, so one more thing real quick. This was an actual micro trade. So you heard Don mention micros. A lot of my students, when they're brand new and they've never traded the futures markets, number one, we have simulators. So I don't want anybody risking any capital whatsoever until they get comfortable with the entry process, taking profit, and protecting, taking risk out of the trade, if you will. Okay. And then once they've exhibited the ability to do that, we want to see some consistency in profit, even on your simulator. Look, these markets are going absolutely nowhere. You have time to learn this stuff. And then the little thing we're talking about today kind of helps accelerate it as well.
I want to interject on that particular point, and that is, so I'm a huge advocate of the micros. That's actually one of the relationships I have with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is literally like getting to push so that they would actually even produce a product of this magnitude. And for those of you that have no idea what a micro is, it's just think of a very minute, very small contract. But you as a trader, okay, without having to go in a simulation, I'm not a huge advocate of simulated environment. That's like literally like playing golf in a simulator, or playing like golden tee, and then getting out and trying to actually tee off. Like it's two totally different worlds. People always ask, like, oh, is there a good book on trading? This is an activity. And if you want to actually learn that activity, you got to execute. You got to execute. And there's no better way in this business, barring none, to learn than to actually execute in a micro, because you're playing like T-ball out there. You can't really get hurt. It is a phenomenal product. And again, everybody, I don't care if you have $1 million in your account, should be using that micro initially to get this logic down pat.
Yeah, and I mean to that end, the biggest thing when it comes to trading anything is risk. We are very risk-minded folks, right? And when the market is moving very fast, like Don said, you're not going to quote unquote get hurt, but this is a great way to use a smaller product to do one thing and one thing only. Focus on process. This helps you alleviate that nervousness that a lot of traders will have, especially trading something brand new. You have risk very well defined and it's very low. So the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're not going to lose a lot of money. And you're going to have enough runway to make the common mistakes that are made. And there's all these, typical pitfalls for anybody that's learning something new, but you're not going to clobber your account trying to do this. And it is actual real money. They are real trades. They are just worth 1/10 of the value. So instead of $20 per point, it's $2 per point. And I wanted to leave this here. A lot of traders that follow me or that are in uh, Theo Trade chat rooms, they kind of have their own little process where the first part of the morning they'll use the bigger product to get what I call day done, to capture what they're looking for out of the day, but they love the action. They don't want to leave the market. So they'll drop down to trading and practicing trading a live product like the micro. So that's, it is a fantastic tool to use. Honestly, look, there are people in the prop game that are trading micros and they're actually, doing well with that. It helps keep the test going a little longer. We'll get into more about that. Here's an example of the most recent week for just the golden setup, the long 26. It says long 26 because that's what the setup is. We are buying or going long the number 26. So this could be a collective. This could be the 426, the 526, the 626. It could be several different levels. But this is 1 week of data. This is the performance of the golden setup, living up to the reputation of nearly 90% success rate. So out of 15 trades, 13 winners. And again, this is all calculated by trading the NQ. 187 points returned times $20. So for 1 week, you could have nailed your $600 a day, right? We had 2 losses here, and you see that it's a negative 36. Right? So as we get into this, I will teach you how to ideally avoid this side of the column, but these markets move fast. You have to have some kind of stop. You can't just go deer in the headlights and not take a loss. That's extremely important to this process as well. Don, did you chime in here?
Yeah, no, you know what? I was just going to say though, losses, it's always going to be part of it. It's absolutely going to be part of it. But on a bright side, you're getting a success rate of 87% on this particular trade. So yeah, no, I think you actually did a wonderful job of explaining it. I was going to chime in, but risk is always part of the business. There's not going to be a free lunch out there, but the exact same time, well, we're going to show you the setup once again here momentarily. At the same time we're saying that, okay, the probability, the success rate associated with this trade is extraordinarily high. Like, is a lot of people are actually going to say inside of the chat room over there, like the 26 is money. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah. And so what the heck is a golden setup? Now, if you are an active futures trader and specifically the NQ, and by the way, the NQ is probably the most popular product throughout all the prop firms. But if you are an NQ trader or a futures trader that is looking to trade the NQ, I'm literally going to teach you the golden setup today. I'm going to give you all the parameters of it today. You're going to be able to actually, with experience, you're going to be able to actually try this trade either today or tomorrow or whenever. So what the heck is a golden setup? It is a trade. It is a setup that produces a 90% success rate when it's executed correctly. It is a repeatable pattern that occurs nearly every day in the NQ. You just saw a week had 15 trades out of a week. That means it's set up 3 times a day, right? And the majority of time, those setups occur in the first 3 hours of the day before lunch. Okay, we do see some late day stuff, but a lot of times, and a lot of traders specifically using futures products, and if you're following my methodology of what I call getting a day done, that means you're picking an actual attainable number to achieve on a daily basis, right? And you compound that week over week. You're actually getting this done before lunch and you're leaving. Sometimes it's one trade, sometimes it's a one and done. So I'm going to walk through the setup. Again, if you're an experienced trader, I'm going to walk you through this. You're going to get it right away. All right, you guys ready? So on the chart, and this is an older chart right here, but it doesn't matter. I've been trading the 26 and I've been trading the NASDAQ in my specific levels, again, since the NASDAQ 4000s. That's when I developed my strategy. So we're going to talk you through this. We're going to get the pin here. So this particular level is 18,050. I really need to update this slide. I didn't realize it was 18,000. Doesn't matter. Coming from the 50. So we want to watch when price comes down into this level. Okay. And there are certain times that you need to have your order sitting there because this will happen very quickly. We use a very automated process to do this. All you have to do is push the button, and I'm going to talk you through exactly what that process is. But we buy when price comes down to the 26. Okay. So when price reaches down to the 26, we buy two contracts. Okay. We're buying two contracts, no more, no less. We're buying two contracts because we have two targets. The highest probability target is that it is going to go to 33. That's our 90%. It is going to achieve a like very quickly, almost like a springboard right to the 33 right here. Okay. And at which point we have what I call risk out of the trade. We can no longer lose money. As a matter of fact, we are in the money. We are net positive on the trade. If price were to reverse and come back here, we're out of the trade based on my methodology. Okay. So getting risk out of the trade or paying for the trade leaves us net positive. What are we trying to do on any given day? We're trying to accumulate 31 of these points. Okay. 31 points. Simple, repeatable, one level. That's all we have to focus
Let
on.
me just state there couple things I want to bring up. He mentions 31 points, 31 points, but a point in an NQ is worth $20. And I
Right.
want to reiterate that point because, like, how do you get to $620? Well, the $620, okay, is basically off of that 31 points, and that's the goal. It's the name of the game. And again, it's it doesn't matter, by the way, whether it's 18,050, but once price is actually breaking through, and if Tony wants to highlight on the screen here, the 18,050, where does that come from, right? So just highlight on your screen 18,050. So price is coming down. It hits 18,050. Second it hits 18,050, he calls that a 50, right? That's when all of a sudden you've actually got sights set on it. That's when you're actually starting to pay attention. If that price continues down and hits 18,026, okay, it's literally buying contracts there. It's literally buying contracts there. The rest, okay, is reversion back higher. This is just people constantly look at this and like, how does it's repeatable? It's a repeatable pattern in here, okay? And this is the 26th level. Tony?
Absolutely. Um, okay. So the golden setup, just to recap, why the NQ? Why the NASDAQ? It's where the action is. We are trading the entire Magnificent Seven under one symbol. It is a perfect vehicle for what I call intraday trading. Some people say day trading, intraday trading, creating daily income. Consistent gains can be made every day with just this setup. And again, I've just given you a lot of the parameters of the setup. You can get started immediately. Okay. And the reason that I am stressing the 31 points is because that is your daily goal. Okay. The 26 is the only level that you need. All right. It is a key level that I use for an entry point. The reason that I will enter on that, regardless of market conditions, is because of the probabilities. The probabilities are extremely high. A lot of times I will trade this live in front of people and like, what? The market is coming unglued. It's coming straight down into the 26. You're going to be catching a falling knife. And all of a sudden, boom, the 33 gets hit and then it returns back to the 50. And therefore, we have captured, sorry, too much coffee. We have captured a golden setup. We have achieved our daily goal. So I only want you guys to focus on one level. And that is actually a challenge because as traders, we're kind of like, cats chasing laser pointers. We're very distracted. It's very hard to focus on one level. That is actually challenging for a lot of traders, believe it or not. But that is your challenge. I want you to focus on just this one level, the level 26. And again, right now, where's the market? 25,226 area.
We're not home yet. We're not home yet.
Right. So we're right around the 25,226. Again, this is the NQ or the MNQ, same levels. They're interchangeable. They trade the same exact way. Okay. So the challenge is going to be for you to only focus on one level. So I'm going to share a few testimonials that I get. I get quite a few of them. Obviously, you saw one from this morning. Tony made $1,020 today. Ken, booked about $6,000 in profits. This is from a very good friend of mine, now a friend of mine, who hit me on Instagram and said, "Hey, Tony, I just want to thank you for teaching me everything you know about trading. I think you might be hiding something, maybe. But my progress is moving along nicely. I will be a $250,000 trader this year. Very grateful for your time. I study a lot. Best wishes." Okay, that's Paul. And here's a couple more instances of the setup. And again, I want you to hopefully this is not lost on you. What I'm showing you, okay? This is at all-time highs, you guys. This is at 24,926. What does everybody as a trader, if you've been in this business for any amount of time, what do you think when we say we're at all-time highs? It's probably not, "Hey, let me go buy it." Right? It's probably not, "I want to get long at all-time highs." That's the beautiful thing about the golden setup. There's no thinking. There's no emotion. I do everything I can, you guys, again, to keep stuff simple, to remove emotion from this game as much as I can. That's why I only focus on probabilities. Right here on the screen, price is coming down from the 24,950 down to the 26, right? What happens? We buy our two contracts here. We sell the first contract at the 33 level. Again, I'm going to walk through how you actually execute this in 1 second. Okay, this is all an automated process. All you have to do is this part here. You just have to buy it. Okay, when you buy it, everything else takes over. You're taking profit at the first profit level that is pre-programmed, and then you're taking the final profit here. So again, $140, $480 total together. That's our $620. Tony, I missed this one. There's another one right there, right? Experienced traders catch them both. They double their money for
I
the day.
love that. By the way, I love that because I missed it, I missed it. And I'm like, what are you new? Just wait, just wait. It'll like repeat. It's a repeatable pattern. That's one of the most crucial things of this. Somebody was asking, like, well, can returns be this? Can returns be that? And I'm like, look, if you want to sit there and you want to work, 6 hours a day at it, go for it. But a lot of us do what's termed day done. Day done is you hit a level, for instance, $620, pack your crap up, turn your screen off, and leave. Right?
Honestly,
Reserve. Yeah.
Don, I stick around. How many years have you been in front of a screen bell to bell? You've seen the opening bell and the closing bell.
So I actually left the physical trading floor in 99, 2000. So when Thinkorswim kind of started 2000, 2001. So I have literally been behind a screen for 25 years.
25 years, you guys.
Yep.
We sit in front of our screens that long. Do you think we take every wiggle on the chart, jump at every single move? Absolutely not.
Depends
Have
on
a
how much
plan.
caffeine I've had. Depends on how much caffeine I've had.
Have a plan, have a process. Hey, look, I'm in several chat rooms here at Theo Trade, so I sometimes don't have a choice because look, when it comes to my trading methodology and the way that I trade, I'm cut from the cloth like, you know what? Don't explain it to me, show it to me. So I trade live in front of you guys every single day. A lot of you here in the chat room know that. But let's talk about how we've automated the process of doing this trade. We're using brackets. Okay. How many of you guys are using brackets?
So I'm gonna cover a little bit about this. So for those
Go
of you
for
that
it.
know, yeah, for those of you that know anything about brackets, everybody gets all like caught up in like which brokerage firm, which brokerage firm. Let me tell you something about brokerage firms. First of all, they're a dime a dozen. I spent 15 years at both Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade, and I actually built a lot of Thinkorswim's active trader. So I built a lot of the bracket system over at Thinkorswim. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. Stop with this crap. Who cares what your brokerage firm happens to be? We'll give you favorite brokerage firms. That part's easy. Okay. When I say stop with this crap, this is like somebody goes out there and they're like, oh man, I better hire a good accountant. You haven't even made any money yet. Who the hell cares about your brokerage firm? Who cares about even commissions? Learn how to do the damn trade first. It infuriates me. People are worried about commissions. They're worried about good brokerage firm. They're worried about the ladder and this. Forget all that crap. Superfluous. Okay. Those are details. Learn to make money. Learn to actually trade. When are you going to go out and buy, like I was talking about, golf? Earlier, you're going to go out and buy like a $30,000 set of clubs because they actually have that crap. Okay. Like $30,000 custom golf clubs because you've never really played before makes absolutely no sense. Buy a piece of crap golf set. Who cares what your brokerage firm is? Get in there, okay? Learn how to use the damn technology and we'll work with you. Like I'm so nuts about it because I'm so sick of the brokerage firm industry. They're all a dime a dozen. Nobody gives a damn who you trade with. It doesn't make a difference. Once you get experience, then we can talk. And yeah, there's good accountants out there too. But now you may continue, sir.
So brackets are universal across all platforms. Like Don said, I'm not, going to talk about which one's better or which one's worse. By the way, Don, you were talking about $30,000 golf clubs, and you might get paired with some guy that has an old, pawn shop set that just wipes the floor with you. Same thing in the bike world, in the cycling world. When I was racing, you had to have a bike. Bikes are $15,000 now, you guys. And there's always that guy that shows up with an old jalopy kind of bike and just smokes everybody
That's
and
right.
never fails.
That's
Anyway,
right.
I digress.
I'm the
So,
guy with the golf clubs too. Like I'll show up at the driving range. They're like, "How old are those?" I go, "My dad used them.
yeah,
My
you got the
dad
old
used
persimmon woods.
them."
Anyway, I digress. So let's stay on point. Brackets. It is the best way to manage risk, to also, and specifically with the criteria of this setup, to also capture profits because this happens quickly. Okay, it happens quickly. So the two contracts are split into two profit targets. We put both of them on at the same time. We take a +7, okay? And I'm just going to get real literal here with you. That is 26. That's our entry point to 33. Okay. And then the following or the final contract is out at 50 for a 24, right? And that's where we get our 31 points. Okay. And risk on this is a stop loss that I will give you a predetermined stop loss. This is the bracket you're going to use for every single 26 trade without
So for the
fail.
most part, the question that everybody has, okay, and here's the real answer. Yeah, you automate it in the bracket. That's what people always want to know. Do you automate it in the bracket system? Of course, you're automating in the bracket
Yep.
system. Nobody wants to go click, 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 click. You don't have to do any of that crap. You just set it up in here. That's why I said every brokerage firm can pretty much do this. And once you learn the logic of the strategy and so forth, and you learn the entry and learn the exit and learn how to put the stop, Tony just sets this up for you, and it's plug and play. All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
All right. So the entry part is the most important part. Knowing when to enter, knowing when price comes down from that 50 level, right? In this case, it would be the 25,250. I'm getting used to saying 25,000. The money is made on that entry, not on the exit. The entry, there's an art to the entry process. You are going to miss some of these trades. They happen every single day, multiple times a day. So knowing when and where to enter is, or how rather, and when to enter is absolutely critical. After that, the bracket takes over. So here's a quote from Ann Coleman in one of the chat rooms. I had my best day ever so far, 135 points on the MNQ. Very happy using a bracket every single time. It takes the guesswork out of it. You're not thinking about the trade, right? You know where risk is. You know where your profit targets are. You simply have to know when to enter the trade, right? So here's another example right here. Price is descending. I want you guys to look at this. Look at these bars, right? We don't have any clue that any of this is going to happen. We have no clue that any of that is going to happen, right? This looks like you're jumping in front of something. It's falling straight down. Why does it stop on the 26 and then reverse? That's key, right? And it happens more than once a day. Now, of course, it will eventually break. The trend will override this. So it's very important that you know, again, when and how to enter this trade. But this is the only trade you needed. I missed that one. Here's another one. Okay. And I'm going to take you through quite a few of these, by the way. And it's any 26 level. It's any 50 level. This is 25,050. This is 25,026.
Yeah, that's
Tony,
one of the things. Like, so people always miss that. I don't want to, but people always miss that. They're like, oh, 26, 26, 26. Like, yeah, you're like 18,026, 25,526. Like, it doesn't matter. So that's why we just say, oh, the 26 this and the 26 that. But the 26, really what it is the golden setup.
absolutely. Golden setup. But it has, listen, very important. It's got to come from the 50. It has to come from the 50. There is a method to the madness. Okay. And that's very important. That's very, very important. John T. Tony, I'm up $8,853. Julie, I don't know if Julie's around. She is always around in the chat rooms. Wow, I just had my first $1,000 day. Shirley Q, who is watching from Tennessee. Tony, this week I made $4,280. And look, like Don was saying, you can buy multiple contracts. I don't think you need to, especially starting out, but more experienced traders are using this level to scale, right? They obviously are dealing with their own risk. They're their own risk manager, but they're scaling into this, meaning they're taking larger size because of the probability. So I tried both of today's golden setups, over $4,000 in profit, right? That's probably trading 3 or 4 contracts at a time, maybe more. Golden setup pays again. Christian, who is in the room with us, longtime golden setup trader. Again, here's another example of multiple setups, and I'm just looking at the time here, 8:50. So within like 2 hours, this set up 3 times, right? Are we trading up here? Are we worried about what's happening in between these lines? No, we're not. We're only focused on the 26. We're only focused on the 26, right? That's it. This particular 26 happens to be 24,726. So again, we're up here in this thin, rarefied air at all-time highs for now. And it's still proving itself over and over and over again. You guys, this is how the NQ trades, okay? This is one of the most high probability setups. Brent, there are so many opportunities throughout the day. If you miss one, no big deal. Another one is coming. No truer words have been spoken. This is a repeat. Sorry about that. Here is another one. And remember, I told you when we started this that it is not uncommon to see price descend down into a 26 like this, and it just be the low of the day, and it just doesn't come back. Right. And so this is a big problem for some traders. And this is an email that I will get. Why did I sell it at the 50, Tony? It was the low of the day. I could have gotten 100 points out of that times $20. I could have got 200 points out of that. We don't know. We don't know it's going to be the low of the day. What we do know is that when price comes from the 50, in this case, 24,750, and comes down and tags this 26, this happens. And we get, boom, risk out of the trade. And in the case of some more experienced traders, they may hold on to the trade. They may not take final profit there. But if you're in a bracket and you're working on your process and you're trying to capture your $620 a day, or you're trying to pass a prop firm evaluation, you're not staying in trades like this. You are doing base hits. You are getting your $620 towards passing your evaluation and moving on. At least I hope you are. Okay. But it is not uncommon, you guys. This is not an uncommon thing for us to see the 26 do this over and over again. All right. Now, Thomas from the Netherlands sent me this. This is kind of, this is a little personal. It kind of gets into some things that are just, this is kind of why I do this, you guys. When I get these kind of emails, life-changing stuff, that's what keeps me going every single day. Tony, I've just swept my account from my trades in June, which was enough to pay for the rest of my father-in-law's chemo, treatments, and beyond. Now I have more time with Dad. Thanks for everything, right? That kind of tugs at your heartstrings a little bit. I love to get that kind of feedback, you guys. Anthony, my trades paid for the whole 90-day challenge today. So the first day of the 90-day challenge, or the first week of the 90-day challenge, Anthony paid for the course by taking the trades, right? So that's what I'm talking about, you guys. It's so simple that you can hit the ground running. And if you have just a little bit of experience, you'll really gravitate to this quickly. No matter. If you do not have any experience, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? Michael M., I love the structure and discipline. Discipline is a key word, especially when we're talking about kind of the subject today of prop firms. Discipline is absolutely key. Without that, you're not passing those evaluations, okay? So here's just a couple more examples. This happens to be 21,826. Look at the size of these candles, you guys. It comes down into the 26, reverses quickly, comes back to the 26, puts in a what we would call a double bottom or matching lows, and then just goes away, right? So hopefully you guys can see how this repeats itself, albeit at different levels in the 26, meaning 25,000s, 24,000s, 23,000s, 21,000s. Hutch said, I'm averaging 1,000 to 2,000 a day. I like the fact that I only trade one ticker and that I don't have to study numerous stocks or charts. Now that speaks to trading futures in general. The reason that I love to trade futures and the reason I love to trade the NQ is because we don't have to do stock scans. We can focus and we can look for all these little habitual patterns and repeatable patterns in one product and one chart, right? And I'm giving you the roadmap with this strategy. Poolside trader, boom, boom, $620, the golden setup. Henry L., my goal is $620 a day. After 2 weeks, I've been consistently winning. 2 weeks, guys and girls, 2 weeks. Kevin said, that's golden, Tony. I just made 1,500 bucks. So what you just saw, the charts that, and you can go validate those charts outside of my voice. You can go find them. They're all there. Put a line on your chart, 26, you'll see it. One simple repeatable trade. We just look for the 26. It rolls around over and over and over. It's not uncommon for us to see it multiple times a day, right? So it is the opportunity for this is almost nonstop, but you have to temper yourself. You're not jumping at this market, okay? You're only focused on your process of buying the golden setup. So now, are you starting to see how, if we have something that's repeatable like this, how this provides access to other people's money? Do you see how we can use something like this to keep ourselves very structured, very disciplined, to abide by those rules? We only try that trade. We only take that trade, I should say, based on a very specific parameter, very specific criteria. And then boom, we get past our eval. And I've seen some of you guys have already mentioned that you're funded with Top Step, which is very, very cool. Right? It's not an easy thing. Again, like Don said, this is rigged for, well, I can't say that legally,
Carnival tilted.
it is a little tilted in their favor, needless to say. Okay. But look, we've tracked this over the last 18 months. I've had over 2,000 students come through and learn the golden setup in my class. Okay. And so these numbers are based on every single setup. Now, if you're a disciplined trader, you're not taking every single setup, but the opportunity is here for you to bank your $620 a day. That is our goal on any given day. Okay. This is the kind of opportunity that you've been waiting for, right? We have crafted an incredible new way for you to put this setup to work in your trading today.
All right. And I'm actually going to pick it up right there. So I'd like to introduce Tony Rago's 90-day NASDAQ trading challenge. Now, with 3 new boosts that we're going to walk you through. I can't actually wait to walk you through. There's some really cool stuff, by the way, for those of you, okay, that are here, those of you that are experienced, there's going to be some interesting twists that we're going to add into here. What you're going to get with this, first of all, the Golden Setup Live Masterclass. I want to be very clear about this. This is new, okay? This is Tony is not recording it and then playing it back. He's going live. He's going to go live again and do a completely, okay, new overview. And I'll go into detail exactly what he's going to do. Friday, October 17th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's actually going to be the kickoff of the class at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right. There's going to be a class. That class, most of the time I say, it's going to be like 2 hours. It's going to be easily 3 hours. It's going to be a 3-hour full-blown class. Of course, it's going to be recorded. Next, we have auto charting advantage. That is the charts that you just saw. Everybody's like, is that a 1 minute? Is it 2 minutes? Is it 5 minute? We're going to give that to you. Okay. So for the most part, we're going to automate, okay, your charting. So if you're kind of curious about how the setup is and the lines that were drawn on Tony's chart, All of that is going to be provided, okay, to you. Tony's private chat room where he calls out the trades. This is actually what we term the golden setup room. So it's going to be a room dedicated exactly like we're in right now, okay, with full Q&A capabilities. You can post trades and everything, but you're actually seeing Tony, okay, every single day, which I'll discuss here in a moment as well. Every single day you get Tony, okay, and you get Tony one-on-one. There's going to be the golden monthly coaching calls. So this 26 setup, this golden setup, there's going to be coaching calls every single month. Now, some people are brand new, have never had experience, okay, with futures. They don't know the first thing about futures. They don't even know what an NQ is. You're still wondering what a forward slash is in front of the NQ. Join me for Futures 101. Now, it is pre-recorded, but it's Futures 101. It's actually going to teach you the basics of futures. We want to be able to take everybody here from absolute, I've never traded a futures contract to some of the extremes. All right, you $20 billion prop firm research dossier. What that basically is for those of you that are interested in prop firms, and this is something that's only come up very, very recently here at TheoTrade, is you can trade this strategy, the 26. Okay, there's no account minimum. Like literally, you could be trading micros with $500 in your account. That comes up all the time. People are like, well, what about day trading margin rules? None. There's no day trading margin rules here whatsoever. You can do this with like $500 in your account. But, okay, if you're into it, if you want to try and you want to go into a prop firm, okay, and you want to use their capital, well, we actually put together a full research package specifically for that. It is brand new, okay? In the golden setup room, you're going to receive that. Now, on top of that, brand new, there's a GSI, the Golden Setup Index. What the Golden Setup Index is all about, it's green lighting, like this is the time to actually take the setup. All of the factors that we typically look at, okay, before getting and buying at the 26. Are we descending from the 50 into the 26? Okay, all of that is going to be packaged, okay, into one clean indicator called the GSI. For those of you in the golden setup room, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to get this, okay? This is brand new. We'll discuss more of it here in just a moment. Last, okay, the Golden Nuggets daily updates, which I'm going to talk more about in just a moment. If you follow me over right now to theotrade.com/26, those links are actually in your chat rooms. Okay, the links are in your chat rooms. It's theotrade.com/26, just to make sure everybody actually knows that or doesn't see the link in there. Theotrade.com/26. It's 26. All right, as you scroll down towards the bottom of the page, okay, little explanation of what each item is. I'm going to go through that here momentarily. But as you do scroll down, okay, to the bottom of the page, okay, first of all, name, email address, phone number, put a valid email address in. It's critically important. We're constantly contacting you, but that's actually where we're going to be sending information, including the dossier. Obviously, billing address. The decision to make over here, okay, payment options. You can actually do a full-blown year of this, okay, for $19.95, or you can choose quarterly, okay, at $9.95. Either of those, okay, either of those is going to have a 30-day money-back guarantee associated with it. So 30 days, trade with us, okay? Trade with us. We'll stick our neck out for you. Trade with us. You've got to be willing to put forth some effort. Listen, I don't want anybody to come in here and think that this is going to be instant coffee, instant tea. That's what everybody wants. So they show you on like Twitter and X these days. Somebody sitting there, okay? You can get there. You're going to work a little bit at it initially. You got to be able to put forth some effort. Show up in the morning. Trade with Tony. Follow the entries, okay? Use the auto charting, but there's still a money back guarantee. Look, sometimes life gets in the way and we get it. We don't want anybody to be on the hook for like $2,000 that isn't happy. We want people, okay, that want to be in that room. And the golden setup, more than anything here at TheoTrade, that golden setup room, that is one tight freaking community. Okay. Some of those people are in this chat room right here, right now. I can already see like, I think Francisco was actually in the room over here. So look, everybody wants, okay, viable traders in the room because you're literally at that point working together, talking about setup, refining your process, refining your entries, refining your exits. Everybody wants players in that room. There's no competition. It's the exact opposite. It's literally let's hold hands and let's trade this 26 together. There's a money back guarantee. It's 30 days. Okay. There's no stipulations. Email us. That's it. No excuses, no questions, no commentary needed. Just email us your money back. Now, let's get down to business over here. The Golden Setup Live Masterclass. It's kicking off Friday, October 17th. Look at your calendar, mark it down. Okay. Why? Because that is right around the corner. So, next Friday, what do you got? It's Tony, step by step, is going to teach you the Golden Setup. Tony, I always tell people like you're going to be 2 hours because it's supposed to be a 2 hour class. Give me the lowdown, man. You're going to be 3 hours. You're going to be 3.5 hours. By the way, Tony does not stop. Okay. He's one of those people that like I literally have hopped on there and be like, man, you're on here 4 hours. You need to stop. Like I'm
Yeah.
actually hitting him on the side. How long
I've
is the class going to be?
I've gotten the hook from you several times, a minimum of 2 hours. It kind of depends on, how many questions, but I'm typically between 2 and 3 hours.
So
I don't look, I don't shut it down until all the questions are answered. So I will stay if you guys need me to stay. And our same thing with all the other things that we do here that kind of have a time to them.
by the way, with this, and I want to be very, very clear, okay? Because there's somebody in there that was like, well, what if the market starts to sell? Of course, there's actually a short to this. So this setup is what we call a long, meaning you're buying the market at 26, okay, and exiting at specific levels. There is an additional setup that is going to be taught. That is what we term a short setup. That is, you're getting in, obviously looking for marketplace to decline, which that might be coming sooner rather than later. So there's three additional high probability setups in here. The golden setup is just that. It's gold, Jerry. It's gold. But there's three additional high probability setups actually taught in this particular class. The class is recorded. You have unlimited access. Okay. I am actually the first one to tell you. Okay. You go to the class, show up live. It's much more dynamic when you're live. And yes, I would still listen, okay, to the recording thereafter. The class alone, when we originally did the golden setup class, okay, class alone was like 2 grand. Like it literally was 2 grand. We're charging you 2 grand for an entire year. The class alone used to be 2 grand. The class now is part of it. Okay. So we've actually gone volume, obviously, here at TheoTrade, and that's okay. That's okay. Because you know what? The more people in that room, the better. We're all trading and buying 26. You start to get a few hundred people buying 26 at the exact same time. You know what happens? Freaking market goes up at that point. So the value in this, just the class alone, is $2,000. Okay, first bonus in here, auto charting advantage. It's done for you. So the lines that Tony has actually been showing on the screen the entire time, which actually highlights the 26, it highlights the 33, it's highlighting the 50 in here. Okay, those lines are prefabricated. You don't have to, it says no fooling around with charts. Okay, that's clearly not my language. You don't have to screw with the freaking charts to figure out where the hell the lines go. It drives me insane too, because people are like, how do you get the lines in the chart? Yeah, we're done with all of that. So basically, it's fully programmed for you. It's going to save time. It's going to save headache. Super, super low tech stuff. Okay. Even those of you that are geeks in there, like, how do I get that line in there? So this is now given to you. It's another $1,000 value in there, auto charting setup. And we have several different charting applications. So don't freak out on me about what charting application you should use or shouldn't use. All right. Bonus number 2, 90-day access to the private chat room. Now, you sign up for 90 days, you got 90 days. You sign up for a year, you got a year. Just want to be fair with that, right? So this is the dedicated room. This is the golden setup room. Okay. It's day-to-day mentoring. This is not like once in a while. Tony, what time specifically are you every day? Okay. Live in the golden setup room. It's second hour of the trading session, right?
Correct. I am
Okay.
in there at 10:30 a.m. Eastern every day for a minimum of an hour. Most of the time, 90 minutes. If we have a lot of setups, it's very active. We'll be in there for a couple hours.
Okay.
It is worth noting that I'm building a community within this chat room. It is open 24 hours a day. Our markets trade 23 hours a day. We have people all over the world that are trading the golden setup and they all will chime in. You might have someone in Ireland trading or Australia trading the overnight markets looking for some company, right? Building a community. It is all about community. We all lean on each other in that chat room. So it is open 24 hours a day, but I am live And again, these sessions, I want you to think of them as coaching sessions because it is not just me sitting there, entertaining you and saying, "Oh, here it comes." I'm talking to you about the entire market, the context of how it sets up, knowing when to trade it, knowing when to step aside.
One of the single most important things of the entire room, the entire construct of what we're doing here, specifically in the golden setup at Theo Trade, is it's live trading. So there's no paper trading. He's going to step in. He's actually going to trade, and he's going to trade with you. That's critically important. This is not like paper trading. This is not like anything other than you're actually watching over his shoulder, okay? And you're welcome to actually hop on board. And it's day to day. So Tony's in there 5 days a week. And people always ask, like, does he ever take time off? Like once in a blue moon. Like literally, man, I think I've given you 2 days off. Okay.
Well, I
Yes,
was sick.
I
I
beat
couldn't
him.
talk.
I beat him and make him in. You know what? It was actually kind of cool. So Tony got sick. I know that's not kind of cool, but it's kind of cool. You got sick, and there were people in that room that like really stepped up. Okay, and they're like literally walking the new people through. It's day to day. Okay, we want it to feel like a community. And again, this isn't. It's like another $2,000 value thrown at you just the 90-day access. Those of you sign up for a year, and again, I want to be very, very clear about something. Okay. The year is a deal. The quarterly is $1,000 a quarter. It's $4,000 a year. We're just sign up for the year. And we do that specifically, okay, to give you the deal for the year. Look, you still get a 30-day money back guarantee, regardless of what you actually select in there. But a lot of weight I put specifically into the day-to-day mentoring. Okay. So obviously you've got the chat room, okay, that's set up, but the class is going to get you ready for what? Well, the charts are going to be taught in the class. Then you've actually got this chat room to be able to just back and forth Q&A, constant Q&A in there, and live trading. Next, okay, these are coaching calls. This to get your questions answered live. But he's answering live questions every day anyway. Okay, what this basically is dedicated 2-hour coaching calls, okay, during the trading challenge. And it's really refining strategy. This is really getting everybody on the same page. There are times where you need a reset. These calls are that reset. This is actually once a month getting in there and saying, like, look, we did this setup, this setup, this setup. Okay, what actually worked, what didn't? Where did we have our stop set? Okay, all of it is actually covered in here. You guys will really appreciate it. I put a lot of stock into this as well. It's $500 value, okay, on a monthly basis over here. So bonus number 4, this is Futures 101. This class happens to be with me. This one's with me. This is just a very introductory class. How futures are really going to drive order flow, what the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is. Look, even some of the most experienced traders, okay, in stock have no idea what a futures contract even is. And you're going to learn futures, okay? It is the market. It literally is the marketplace. So I urge you, even if you know futures, watch the 101 class. Okay, I'm not trying to self-promote over here. I'm just telling you there's areas of futures you probably don't know. Now, this is a brand new bonus. Now, there's a $20 billion marketplace out there. It's huge. It's prop firms. Okay, what does prop mean? Proprietary trading firms. These proprietary trading firms is literally, okay, they are seeking traders that know what the hell is going on. Okay, it is really hard to get in with these prop firms. What we're actually putting together is this entire, okay, $20 billion research, dossier of how the system actually works in there. Okay, it's really, okay, what they really check for. So a tour of how prop firms judge you, okay, and really how to kind of work the system. Why 98% of the people fail? There's too many trades, betting too big. I mean, by the way, when you actually go in and you set up for these prop firms, people are like, I'm gonna show them what I'm made of. And the first thing they do is trade big. You're done. Done. Okay. You got to come in small. You got to actually prove yourself. So we've spent time probing, poking to figure out the other side of this system. It's all in this dossier. Okay. It's built to stay inside of the rules. And I'm going to tell you right now, the 26 setup, the golden setup, is absolutely pivotal in this. You guys will really appreciate. Again, we will provide a copy of this specifically to you. Okay. Next on here, okay, official access to the prop firm capital. Obviously, Tony's already achieved that. Okay. Taking payouts using the golden setup. So I think he's actually in chat. Yeah. Yeah, you actually are in chat. So here, better than that. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, he's in chat. He's in chat right now. So Francisco, okay, Francisco is actually in chat at this particular moment in time. We actually put him up over here. Tony decided I'm taking my first payout today. So this comes from October 3rd. So not only are we talking about this, but one of the ideas we had for this was from Francisco and a couple of other clients that have started using the 26, the golden setup specifically, okay, in these kind of, carnival tilted prop trading firm world, okay, and circumnavigating it and giving them payouts, which is huge. It's absolutely huge over there. So yeah, Francisco, thank you by the way for showing up. He's here. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it,
So
Francisco.
yeah, no, I really do. Okay. You're now immortalized on a webinar. Yes, it's recorded, Francisco. Okay. Next in the docket over here, another bonus. Okay. Now I'm going to explain a little bit about this. I'm not going to go into too much depth. We've just recently built this. Okay. So what it's basically got is there are certain parameters, okay, before you want to say yes or no to a golden setup. I'm going to make it very, very simple. Okay. There's like red light, green light. One of them happens to be like if the market's incredibly volatile, there's a setup for that. It's called ATR, average true range. Don't worry about that. Okay. But if the market's incredibly volatile, it would be like, no, no, not a good time for this. Okay. But this GSI, this golden setup index, okay, at one glance, you're going to know what kind of a day you're actually walking into. Okay. It's going to give you a lot more like freedom. So you don't have to look at 4 or 5 different things before deciding whether the golden setup. So it's as simple as show up, check the GSI. Okay. If we're green lit, go. Your goal for golden setup. Okay. Execute the checklist, get back to life. That's it. It's really important. It's actually brand new. We're just putting this together because there's like these factors that Tony looks at. And myself and one of the other partners here at TheoChair, we're like looking at this. We're like, man, can't you simplify this crap? By the way, we say that to everybody. Can't you simplify this crap?
I
Like,
think more than anybody though.
yeah, no, we definitely we beat the hell out of you more than anybody because there's a lot of people in doing this, and you want it to be as simple, okay, as possible, especially like when technology, okay, is there to assist you, okay, use it. So for us to turn around and actually build an indicator that takes, for instance, 5 different things that Tony looks at to kind of green light the golden setup, why not compose them into one like system, and that's actually what we're calling the golden setup index, the GSI. Okay, it's new and it's spectacular. All right, and we are giving access to that now. That is bonus number 6. Bonus number 7, the golden nuggets. I think we saw your golden nuggets there when you were looking at the bike, huh? So the bike picture was definitely the
Oh,
golden nuggets. I can't help
you had
myself.
to. You
Yeah, I
had
did.
to.
So yesterday distilled what fired, what we skipped. I mean, basically, okay, it's a quick cheat sheet. That's the golden nuggets. Do you want to explain a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so it's a market recap, and I kind of talked to you about how the golden setup set up for the day, how many there were, what your potential profit was for the day. There's a lot of mindset stuff that I will constantly feed you, if you will. Like for instance, yesterday we had one golden setup set up yesterday. One. That's a challenge for a lot of traders. If you were disciplined, you stayed out of the market, and the only setup you took were that one setup, right? Whereas a lot of other traders sitting in front of their screens, curiosity kills the cat kind of thing, they start jumping into other trades, forcing other trades, trades that don't actually make sense, right? So it's very important that that discipline part of the equation comes into play. So it's a nice recap of the day, kind of get you ready for the next day, but it kind of just points out what you might have missed. If you did miss the day, you can go back and validate those, go look at them. How did they set up? How did they work? How could you have taken advantage of it? Maybe focus on what time they actually set up, and make sure that you're in front of your computer at that time. So just a nice recap, way for me to communicate to my team. I consider all of you guys my team. and we just kind of get ready for the next day.
Yeah, I'm absolutely cracking up at one of the comments in chat right now. By the way, we are here to answer your questions. I will also, okay, read off names as you guys do enroll. It takes me, okay, about 5 to 7 minutes before I actually see your enrollment here. I'll read off, okay, those of you that have enrolled, just to confirm that we actually see your enrollment. You'll receive, okay, a password emailed out to you, and you can jump right into the golden setup room. Okay, don't get like crazy. Don't get, frustrated in here. It's going to take you a couple of days. Remember, that course is coming up. Okay, that course is coming up, but it's next Friday. So you're about a week out. You're about a week out. And between now and then, watch like Futures 101, sit in the golden setup room just a little bit. Okay, probably in the morning when Tony's actually live in there. Again, he's live 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. You're going to find out real quick, you know, how much you can learn without even having gone through the class. You're going to find out real quick, though. Okay. A lot of people in there, they're making good money, right? This is a great room on a day to day basis that we don't have anything else that supports traders quite like the golden setup room here at Theo Trade. And we're pretty excited actually about it. By the way, a couple of names just starting to bleed in right now. As I said, it takes me about 5 to 7 minutes before I see those names come in here. Okay. Frederick S. from Florida, Ryan S. from Dubai. Tony was just saying a moment ago, people literally are trading the strategy, trading the setup from all over the world. I mean, Dubai has got to be, like probably 12 hours differential from us in time. So day is night, okay? Night is day. Doesn't matter. I mean, literally, we have traders from all over the world, and that's, by the way, that's a pretty good one for taxation out there too. So
That's
with
actually
that,
that Don, let me chime in real quick. That's actually a question that comes up a lot for international traders. Does the setup materialize the same way overnight? It does. It does. As long as the market's open and as long as price is coming, and meeting the criteria coming from the 50, it absolutely sets up. You might not get three or four of them in a night, but it certainly sets up based on the same criteria for sure.
by the way, we have another client in here that's actually part of a prop firm. Rules are designed to work with risk. Primary, okay. I've had several payouts, and the experience has been classy. So I appreciate that. And the reason I'm just glossing over that right now, not taking the time to read it, the entire thing is we have several people already, okay, taking payouts from prop firms. But if you have capital, even if you have 10 grand in an account, you're fine. You never have to go that direction. We're just letting you know, okay, that direction is not only available, okay, but it's been a viability for a lot of our clientele, and that the strategy, okay, is like literally viable enough to get through, okay, the prop firms, and it is tough. Okay, to get through those prop firms. I actually have tested a number of different strategies to actually work way through prop firms, and it ain't happening. Okay, it's great. I think you guys will really appreciate that. So a quick recap here. So we have it's the Golden Setup Live Masterclass. That's Friday, October 17th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay. So again, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Friday, October 17th. So there is, again, a degree, of course, of you got to get in now. Okay. You better watch Futures 101 if you've never traded them. In fact, even if you have traded them, watch Futures 101. Get into the golden setup room like tomorrow. Why? Because you can at least get your auto charts set up. So before the class, I know the class is like next Friday, get in, get your charts set up. Learn a little bit about the private chat room. That's the golden setup room. Okay. Obviously, you're also going to get the monthly coaching calls. Watch Futures 101 in the next week. Now, okay, you have to worry too much about. You don't have to worry too much just about, okay, the prop firms yet. Learn the strategy. But you've got this $20 billion prop firm research dossier. This is everything you're going to need to know about the entire prop firm trading world, okay, at your fingertips. You're also going to receive the Golden Setup Index, of course, and the new, okay, Golden Nuggets daily updates. And that's, okay, looking back, that stuff helps. It's regression analysis and more regression analysis. It's absolutely critical. Again, all totaled in here, it's a few $1,000s a product. Okay. Your only decision today is whether you want to sign up for a year or you want to sign up for a quarter. Either of these, whether it's a year or for a quarter, has a 30-day money back guarantee. Okay. So okay, go through 30 days, trade with us, learn it. Sometimes life gets in the way. I get it. Something comes up and you have to get, it's okay. There's no excuses, no commentary. We want people, and I always say that we want people that want to trade with us here. We want the golden setup to be a great community. So it's going to be a lot of like traders inside of that. Now, we are limiting the number of spots in there. There's already a few hundred people inside, okay, of the golden setup room. Okay, we are going to limit that based on actually demand in here. So all access pass to Tony. Tony is going to coach you. He's going to assist you, okay, directly. There's no assistance. There's no AI, okay. There's no AI Tony. Although if we could build one, we totally would.
Oh boy.
We're only a few years away from AI Tony, okay. I'm not going to make a comment about the biking thing again, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah, the
Anyway,
Nuggets.
yeah, golden nuggets, the golden nuggets over there. But
Oh
unlimited
boy.
access. You're giving, we're also giving away unlimited email access to Tony, okay, for the full duration of the challenge. So whether it's 90 days, whether it's a year, if you would like to contact Tony one-to-one in an email, do it. It's okay. Most people like to talk to him inside of the chat room, which is viability, to do that in the chat room. But if you want to talk to Tony just one-on-one, seriously, just talk to him one-on-one, in an email, something private, something comes up, something about allocation, hit him. Okay, that's what we're here for. And again, there's one Tony, and there could be 300 of you. It's not a problem. It's just not a problem because 300 people don't send an email in one day. We've got it under control. Not a problem at all. But Tony's there to walk you through everything, and he probably helps more than any other instructor here as well. He takes this stuff to heart. So get your opportunity. Okay, be one of the world's really mentored by one of the world's top most trusted traders, which is Tony Rago. All right. If you need us today, call us 623-244-5657. Okay. There are some people, okay, that are very comfortable filling this out online. Okay. And there are some people that are really not. That's completely up to you. If you're not, you can just call us. You can actually enroll directly over the phone, 623-244-5657. Okay. We are more than happy to help you out. I love the comment in there. Oh! All right. Made another $240. Thanks for the great lessons. Okay. Tony, that's from Ashler L. Okay. Finding you has been life-changing. Just banked $1,000. That's Sean F. from Denver, Colorado. I've actually talked to Sean a number of times. Day done. By the way, that's a very common saying here. Day done basically means, okay, you made what you intended to make on that particular day. A lot of people have day done of like anything over $600. That's it. They literally cut off their trading for the day. So day done with 675. That comes from Vicky W. in Albuquerque, New Mexico. $400 day done on 2 trades. That comes from Chugger. Okay, day done. Having a finite obtainable goal each day has really changed my mental approach, okay, on what counts as a win. All right, let's move on over here. Yeah, first trade and green. That comes from Tim D. You're providing exceptional value from Rick M. By the way, a big portion of what we're trying to do is just that. Okay, that room is, again, it's one Tony, but it is exceptional value. I don't think I've had anybody ever come through there and say like, yeah, it shouldn't be $2,000. We could charge $5,000 for this product, and people would still flock to the product. You ask anybody that has been in that golden setup room, okay, unquestionably, look, join now. Okay, you've actually got the masterclass auto charting. All right, the private chat room, which is the golden setup room, the coaching calls, futures 101, the prop firm dossier. Prop firm dossier is a critical portion of this. The golden setup index, which is brand new, and of course, golden nuggets. Okay, that's daily updates. And that's actually walking you through kind of previous day, what worked, what didn't, some of the setups. Okay. And, the promise is made, and this is the results of it. $620 a day delivered. Okay. And this is what you could have actually banked had you set up for, and this is just, I want to be clear, this is just the 26. Okay. It's almost $500,000 if you traded just the 26 over, okay, the last 18 months over here. All right. Couple questions answered. All right. And I want to make sure that we get your questions answered inside of the chat room. So we've got our support team to help you guys inside of the chat room here. Okay. By the way, somebody said, will you be emailing a link to the prop firm dossier? Okay. We'll get that out to you very shortly. Yes. So we're going to get that out to you shortly. In my opinion, I want people to kind of experience a little bit of the golden setup before they actually start reading, okay, everything about prop firms and so forth, because it's a deep, dark world of prop firms, and it literally, okay, is teaching you how to game that system to get through their test to be able to trade with their capital. All right. So what do you need to get started? You need a laptop, internet connection. We have everything you need to get started. Okay. I mean, like everything, and that's important. If there's something that you need to be able to trade the golden setup, the 26 initially, and we're not giving it to you, I want to know about it. And I really mean that. Like, I want to know about it. We want to make sure that we give you every, okay, opportunity to be able to make money when this thing sets up, every single one of them. There are multiple trade setups per day. We are not just trading the golden setup to 26. Okay. There are going to be 3 other high probability setups taught, okay, during that class on October 17th. Okay. Next in the docket over here, you can email us anytime, receive a response within 24 hours, including trade related questions. Timeout. There's a lot of people that won't answer a trade related question, an allocation question, okay, a charting question. We'll answer it all. Okay. Most of us, including Tony, we've held basically every securities license pretty much out there. I've held them all. Like I've had a 3, I've had a 4, I've had my 7, I've had my 24, I've had my 66, which is what is that, the 63 and 65 combined? You want fries with that? I even held Australian licensing and Canadian licensing. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. I'm pretty good at taking some of the securities tests, but it does mean that myself, Tony, a few others, we're really good at answering trade related questions. We're not going to shy away from it. Look, in this business today, it used to be the remember like call Chuck. Remember that, Tony? Like years ago, it was like call Chuck.
Call Chuck.
Chuck. Call Chuck. Chuck wants to talk to you. Let me tell you right now, Chuck ain't answering the phone. And if Chuck does answer the phone, it's a 22-year-old kid that they don't really want to pay. And pretty soon, okay, it's going to be an AI child. Okay, so it's just like it's 22-year-old AI or something. It's getting weird out there. We want you to be able to bounce questions off of this. Okay, and have feedback and proper feedback. And that's why I put a lot into the email, okay, response time alone here at Theo Trade, because I mean, that's worth its weight in gold, literally, just to be able to bounce ideas off of us. By the way, a few more names are actually populating. Mac M from Florida, Sarah H from Oregon, okay, Gary J from Florida, Jeff T from Florida. Apparently, everybody's from Florida today. There are quite the number of Floridians here in Theo Trade. So fantastic. By the way, as I said, apologize. It does take me about 5 to 7 minutes before I see your name actually populate in here. Okay?
I'm a former Floridian. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, all over the state, but I was born in Orlando. So there's that.
That's like I'm a New Yorker, but I live in Arizona right now.
But I
Nobody
live in Vegas.
stays. Nobody stays Vegas. Okay. Yes. So variations of the trade. By the way, variations of the trade. You can do this in an IRA. Okay. You can do this in a normal taxable account. Do this basically in any trading account. In fact, you don't have to have $2,000 in the account. The brokerage firms don't even require this. I also want to be very clear about something. Okay. There is no day trading margin restriction anymore. I'll say that again. There is no day trading margin restriction. Okay. There never has been on futures contracts. So you don't have to worry about having an egregious amount of capital. And some of you are going to try to pass the prop trading firm, and use their capital. But even if you have $500 in your account, you can learn it. And somebody says, yeah, but I got to pay, $2,000 for the year. Yes, but this is about building. Okay. That's what it's about. It's about building. And I get it. Okay. I totally get it. But if you really want to learn this business, okay, and to be effective in this business, you're going to need somebody to mentor you. It's unquestionable. And that's the side of the business that, look, nobody comes out of the womb and can trade. I grew up in this business. Okay. And at 22 years old, went to Chicago. For one reason, I went to Chicago to actually learn from the absolute best. Okay. And then my work wife was Tom Sosnoff for 10 years. Doesn't suck when we traded, I don't know, 10, $15 million of options every single day. Okay. For umpteen years. I mean, it's crazy. Actually, when I traded my first 18 months of my trading career, there wasn't a day where I didn't trade less than, okay, about 30 to 40 million dollars of futures contracts every single day for 18 months. Okay, that was my experience. You are going to get some of that experience. You need a mentor, and that mentor is Tony. Remember, limited spots are available. Get results, take action, enroll now. I'll pop this up here one more time so everybody's actually comfortable. As you go through, okay, everything that's included, of course, is in here. This is theotrade.com/26. There is a 30-day money back guarantee. Please include a viable email address, phone number, and all of your information over here. The decision to make, okay, whether you are actually doing for a year, okay, or whether you are actually signing up for a quarter. Okay, you still receive a 30-day money back guarantee on there. I want to thank Tony actually for doing this today. Okay, and again, everybody that showed up live, I fully appreciate it. I like when people actually come in here live. Behalf of myself, everybody here at TheoTrade, please, by all means, if you have some questions, okay, we're more than happy to answer those for you. We'll hang out here for a little bit. As I said, it's theotrade.com/26. Tony, thanks again, sir. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye bye.